Should you be using a plastic ruler or a metal steel ruler when you are crafting with cardboard? Well, in this video, I'm going to compare these two types of rulers and show you when you should be using each kind. One of the most important qualities of a ruler is the ability to make straight lines, and oftentimes you want to make sets of straight lines. So if I have my ruler right here, this is the plastic one, I can make a single line here. But then this, since I can see through it, it's a clear plastic ruler, I can line up some other lines inside the ruler and then create another line and keep them all perfectly evenly spaced down my part. And there are also some specialty rulers made for this type of operation where they've got a roller in here for different measurements. This can be useful. I have a hard time using them though. And then with a steel ruler, it can be a little more troublesome since you can't see through the ruler at all. When you create one line, sometimes you kind of got to guess or like do different measurements that take a little bit longer to get a set of perfectly straight lines. And as always, there are links and extra resources collected in the description down below just for you. And if we're just meeting, my name is Eli with Maker Brain, and on this channel, I love to help you access and implement your creativity through hands-on DIY projects, as well as tool breakdown videos just like this one. So if that sounds like the kind of stuff you might spend time searching for, then consider subscribing and ringing the bell notification so that you get an easy to access notification every single time I upload a new video. Another important thing when it comes to rulers is how much they slide while you're trying to use them. So if I have my ruler and I'm tracing a line along here, but then it tilts off to one side and slides, I'm gonna mess up my line, and that's a really annoying thing to do. And the truth is, plastic rulers don't slide as much as steel rulers. I've got a little plain steel ruler right here, and it is quite slippery on the cardboard. The plastic ruler sticks a little bit better than that. It's a little bit more grippy, and this will probably vary depending upon the kinds of plastic you have. But having a cork backing on your steel ruler is the most grippy way to go. So if I place this on the cardboard, it is much harder to slide off than the plastic ruler. So if you get a cork backing on your steel ruler, that is going to be a very no-slip solution. In general, if you're just using a pen or pencil and tracing lines with your ruler, I would say that a clear plastic ruler is better than a steel ruler because you can see through it and use different lines inside the ruler. I would say definitely avoid non-clear plastic rulers because you kind of get the worst of both worlds, and we'll talk more about that in just a second because the steel rulers have some big advantages when it comes to cutting. As we reveal the demise of plastic rulers, when you are trying to take a sharp knife to cut along the edge of your ruler, the most dangerous thing that happens here is your knife grabs onto the plastic since it can cut into a little bit, and then it will run across the plastic into your fingers. That is very bad because I like my fingers the way they are. So I've cut with a plastic ruler a lot of times, and you can get a straight line there. You just got to be a little more careful. Another thing is though, it'll take little bits out of the edge of the ruler and make it a little more rough over time. Basically, with a plastic ruler, you're probably going to be tracing that line onto your cardboard and then cutting afterward to get stuff done. But if I have a steel ruler, it's a lot easier to cut along the edge of the ruler because it's not going to cut into it. I can cut faster because I'm not worried about it sliding off. And this ruler is really thin, and it's made out of steel. It's made out of metal. So it's really easy to cut accurately there. But if I have a cork backing, there is a disadvantage to this because it raises the ruler off of your surface a little bit, and that makes it harder. You can see just a little bit of a gap underneath, and that makes it harder to get a really accurate line because you've got a little bit of variable tilt right there. So especially with a pen, that can get annoying, but also with a knife, sometimes you get a little bit of a tiny bit of a wavy line when you're cutting with a cork backing on your ruler. Despite that, I still almost always use this ruler when I am cutting. I'd say that a plastic ruler and a metal ruler are just about as durable as each other because the plastic ruler will bend and it won't really break. The metal ruler will bend and stay that way. So if you bend your metal ruler, it's going to stay bent. Another thing to note is the cork backing can rub off. I've seen some complaints in Amazon reviews about that, where the cork backing kind of peels off or comes apart, and that's definitely really annoying. So watch out for products that might have that issue. Something interesting I've discovered is that oftentimes, even with a clear ruler, I think that the measurements on a steel ruler are a little easier to see and a little bit more accurate. They're often designed for a little more accurate measurements measurements instead of just like classroom use. So they come with really refined measurements down here at the bottom, and you can get more accuracy that way. When it comes to price, plastic rulers and steel rulers are actually about the same price. So if you look them up on Amazon or through the links I have for you, they come in around the same price, and I really recommend having one of each when you're crafting so you can use them in different ways and get the best of both worlds. But also be aware that rulers come in different sizes, and it might be useful to have a little ruler on hand if you're doing smaller projects, because you can get a little bit more like easy details here. It's a little less cumbersome than having a really big ruler. But if you're doing really big stuff, you might want to get a nice long straight edge and do stuff that way. But if you're interested in learning how to cut straight lines in cardboard, then click on this video right here where I break that all down for you, or this other video. And if you got value out of this video, then consider subscribing and smashing the like button to support my channel. As always, I'm Eli Tennant, this is Maker Brain, and I will see you in another video. God bless.